Hello and welcome to another 2 Network Match Report with me, Adam. It's finished Newcastle United 0, Manchester City 1. It's been a funny all night. I think there's been a lot of mixed reaction to that result. The way I see it is that we've saved ourselves an absolute pasting. I think a lot of people on social media seem to be very angry that our tactics were negative, that we didn't want to play. Pep Guardiola came out and said that it was very difficult for his team to score when the other team doesn't really want to play. Now, that's funny, Pep, but you had plenty of chances, mate. Aguero just couldn't seem to finish any of them from where I was standing. I thought the atmosphere in the stadium tonight was absolutely brilliant. There was a real humour, I think, to the crowd from the off, and I think a real understanding of the task that faced the team. Man City were going into that game having won 17 wins on the bounce. The last 4 games they'd scored 4 past Bournemouth, Spurs, and Swansea. So they're averaging, in recent form, they're averaging 4 goals a game. Now, it took them till the 30th minute, around the 30th minute, to break the deadlock. Up to that point, we defended pretty soundly, actually, and it took a moment of amazing vision from Kevin De Bruyne, one of their players of the season, to pick out Sterling on the left hand side. And Rob Elliott's he's gone for it. He's gone to try and close it down, but he's hesitated. He's stopped halfway, and Sterling's just snuck it in. And I thought that was as much as we were utterly camped out in around our box, and City were trying to force and find a way through. I still thought that was we were a bit unlucky to go behind in that respect. Simply because squad value wise, you're looking at Man City, you're probably worth about 800, 900 million, whereas our squad value's under 80 million. If you're complaining about negative tactics, you're not looking at the bigger context. Would we have wanted to win that game? Yeah, of course we did. Would we have wanted a draw? Yeah, of course we would have. But if you're going to lose, think of the bigger picture. If you're going to lose, 1-0 is the best possible outcome. If Man City have been unstoppable, I don't think people are understanding the concept of just how phenomenal a club side they are. They've swept teams aside. They've scored 6 past people. They've scored 7 past people this season, past other teams this season. And for them to come to Newcastle, who last month we went through an awful run of conceded 4, 3, 4. And this coincided with the absence of Jamal Lascelles. And since he's come back in the side, we lost 1-0 against Everton, defensive lapse. We lost 1-0 against Arsenal, won the goal against Ozil. And we beat West Ham 3-2, obviously, in the previous game, which really got, I think we'd earned that. We hadn't played as badly as we seemed to be. The way we were dropping like a stone down the league, we got points that I feel that we've really deserved. I think the team's been high-spirited. We fought for the manager, for Rafa Benitez, and that's exactly what we did tonight. Did we stop Man City pasting us tonight? Yes. Did we have our own chances in the game? Or did we just sit back and not even try to score? No. We had chances to score. Aarons in the first half, where he went to chip it over Edison after a failed Hosselu overhead kick. I thought Aarons could have just blasted it then, but I was really, really impressed with Aarons in the first half. I thought he was lively. I thought he caused them trouble, and he was obviously the clear outlet. Now, Rafa's team selection seem to have one eye on the Brighton game, and when you've got the difficulty is when you've got a squad as we do, with a lack of depth and lack of quality, it's almost a case of you have to pick your battles. Now, there's a couple of players tonight that probably wouldn't have started if we had a game, a winnable game, and that's the rub, the winnable game in 3 days' time. So I don't think Mbemba would have started otherwise. I don't think Aarons would have. And possibly Murphy may or may not have started if he thought that Atsu and Richie are his first choice wingers. Shelvey came into the side, and that, you know, he's been out the side since he got sent off, and so that's been a bit of, he's not been guaranteed games recently. So there was an argument to say that maybe he was saving legs for the Brighton game on Saturday, and fair enough. Play the percentages, and Rafa's set up tactically 5 at the back tonight. He put Manquillo left wing back, Yedlin right wing back. Paul Dummett came in for his first start since the opening day of the season. It was great to see him back. I thought he had a sound game. He cleared one off the line in the second half. He won a lot of headers as well. And I thought he was always looking forward for clear out balls, and, you know, to find Atsu and up that left wing when Atsu came on. And for once, Paul Dummett was kind of playing in what I would regard as his natural position. Left-sided centre-back on a back three. For me, that's his most natural position, and it was great to see him. It was great to see him back, and it was great to see him in there. I don't think he put much of a foot wrong, to be honest, tonight. I struggle to kind of find fault in many of our performances tonight. I think sometimes you just have to hold your hands up and say you are outclassed by... We're going to be... Man City have won 18 games on the bounce or whatever it is. We are going to be talking about this side for years to come. For them to come to St James's Park, not get an early goal. We conceded in about the 30th goal, the 30th minute. But for them to be so wasteful in front of goal, I think this is it. I think Pep Guardiola is looking for excuses as to why his team probably underperformed tonight. I think David Silva was a huge miss for them. I mean, we talk about unlocking a defence. They struggled tonight. De Bruyne managed to do it, and it was a pass that didn't seem on at all to Sterling. But that was the one moment of magic, and I think our offside trap was very sound. We caught them offside countless times tonight. And Gabriel Jesus, when he came on, was largely quiet. He really was. Aguero missed a hatful of chances. The save in the first half, where Aguero flicked on a header. Great save from Elliott. Fantastic. Again, amazing ball from De Bruyne. His delivery was second to none today, but as it has been for most of the season. But for all their possession, Man City, for all their bluster, I don't think they got the joy that they wanted to. Sky have put this game on thinking that it's going to be a cricket score, thinking that, let's see them Geordies get absolutely turned over. But they didn't get that. We spoilt the narrative. They got Man City getting another victory, which, look, in the context, that's nothing to be ashamed. That's absolutely nothing to be ashamed of. They beat Spurs 4-1. Spurs are a cracking outfit. They beat them 4-1. Away from home, they beat Man United 2-1 away by a single goal. The same margin that they managed tonight. You look at Jose Mourinho, and guess what? Just like Rafa Benitez, Jose Mourinho is an excellent, say what you want about him, but he's an excellent defensive coach. So what Rafa Benitez has done tonight. He wanted to soak up pressure. He wanted to stop them from scoring. One move won them the game. One pass from De Bruyne won them the game, basically, tonight. But we didn't get turned over, and we had our own chances. As I mentioned in the first half, Aaron's had his chip, and I thought it would have capped off an excellent first half performance from him. And in the second half, right at the death, you had after Man City had wasted chance after chance after chance. Some great work from Atsu on the left-hand side, and I thought the crowd really got behind the team tonight when we did have spells for us, particularly in the final 10 minutes, where I really thought there was a spell where Gale went down. Was it a penalty? I haven't actually seen the footage back, having come back from the game, but I'm told that the Chronicle was saying that it was a deserved yellow card for diving. I mean, if he has gone down, he's gone down. I'm not going to begrudge him that. He was trying to win he was trying to get as an equaliser. I'm not going to begrudge Dwight Gale that at all. But I thought his combination with Atsu for his dive and header chance right at the death was tremendous. I thought when Atsu came on, he made a real difference. In fact, I thought all of our wingers tonight were really, really something else. I really enjoyed what each of them brought. I thought Murphy came out with confidence as well, but that move with Atsu and Gale, where he had three men around him, and then he'd beaten them, and then he went back further out wide and then crossed it in, and Gale's, I mean, if that sneaks in the post, Rafa's a genius, isn't he? He's an absolute genius for tonight. But Sky, I mean, I heard Gary Neville saying that it was the most negative 30 minutes of Premier League football he'd ever seen. No, it isn't, Gary. It's not. That's hyperbole. It's not. What it is Newcastle doing they're doing what's necessary. If we play two up front and go gung-ho, I mean, I suggested in the last game, I didn't quite know if Rafa was just going to go for it or whether he's going to go more reserved. And he went more reserved with Hosselu as a target man, who won his fair share of headers tonight. Again, far more aerial duels won. There was a tweet going around earlier in the week that Hosselu had won more aerial duels than anybody else in the Premier League. So there was obviously, he was our outlet with quick wingers, Murphy and Aarons, trying to chase down. But ultimately, we didn't really chase them down in their half. We only we saved energy and allowed them to come into our half, and that's when we did a lot of good man marking, and we were solid. To be able to nullify an attack that's averaged 4 goals a game in the last 3 games. Yet people are upset and complaining. What? We've got 5 million Hosselu playing, man. We've got Mankio left. Like, what do you expect against Man City, who have can shell out 50 million quid on a right back? It's a different sport, man. Had we lost 6-0, had we gone for it, right? And had we lost 6-0, what you got? You got goal difference. You write down. As it stands, we're on -11, which is the second best goal difference in the whole of the bottom half. That is going to matter. The whole of the bottom half is so tight. There's a few points separating between 12th and 19th, for example. It's crazily tight. The goal difference aspect is something that Newcastle have going for them, because there was only a few matches. There was only a month worth of matches that we conceded 4 here, 3 there, 4 there. The rest of them have been 1-0s, haven't they? Think of Bournemouth, 1-0. Think of Huddersfield, Brighton, 1-0, 1-0. You think of Arsenal, 1-0. Everton, 1-0. Man City, 1-0. There's a pattern, isn't there? I mean, Tottenham beat us 2-0 earlier on, but that was when we were down to 10 men, and it was 0-0 up until that point anyway, to the sending off. So what Jamal Lascelles has brought back is this defensive solidity to say that on average, we're not going to concede more than one, which in the Premier League, for a newly promoted side, is pretty bloody impressive, to be honest. The problem has been the nil. The problem has been not scoring enough. And when you have a squad which hasn't been invested in properly, doesn't have contained Premier League quality, and we have, striking issues, we have goal issues. I mean, it looks like Mitrovic is on his way. I think he's come out and said tonight that that's pretty much him. He's tried his best here, but he needs to move on to get game time. I don't blame him. I think he'll do very well in a side that plays the way he wants to play and to his style. I think somebody will get themselves a decent striker and who'll be committed. So I don't think our issue is the defence, and we've proved again tonight that we can nullify a team that averages 4 a game. We had 22% possession tonight. 22%, yet we had 2 shots on target and they only had 6. So they've had 78% possession, yet they've only managed 4 more shots on target than we have. One of them went in, granted, but that's disproportionate. That shows you how much better we played with the tools that we had versus what they're capable of, and the tools that they have, and the depth and options that they have at their disposal, which Rafa Benitez does not have. He's working with championship players, with a couple of smatterings of top level players, whereas Man City have Leroy Sané sitting on the bench, 40 million or whatever. That's the difference. We've got Atsu who comes on, 6 million. The fact that we've gone toe to toe with a team that's probably worth 10 times our squad value and almost nicked a draw again. We did almost nick it. We had them worried in that last 10 minutes. And what I really loved tonight was the crowd. I think there was humour to the crowd. I think it was a great atmosphere. I think from the off, the crowd had decided that they're absolutely going to back the boys. They understood what a tall order faced them. So it was the ironic, we've won a tackle, they've missed a chance. Way, and it was a really strange but a really wonderful atmosphere to be around. It was good to show that we're not always on the players' backs, which has been the case at some times. I mean, against Watford, for example, the 3-0 defeat, I thought we were absolutely awful, and we would have launched abuse at them for that performance, and maybe quite rightly so, because it was dire. It was pathetic. I thought that performance against Watford. So what we've done is that we've maintained a superior goal difference in the context of this bottom half. Yet in doing so, we still created chances and we still could have won it. We don't think we would have won it. We could have nicked a draw, I was going to say. So Gary Neville can say what he wants because he likes to, in the job that he's in, he needs to say things to get a reaction. Pep Guardiola needs to save face, so Pep Guardiola will say, he will criticise the way Newcastle set up. But if you look at it, it's just Rafa Benitez being pragmatic with the tools at his disposal, with what limited options he has. What do you guys think? Put in your comments below, were we too negative? Should we have played 2 up front? But then you played 2 up front, you leave us hugely, hugely exposed. And trust me, we would have been ransacked. We would have been ransacked. I thought the first and foremost, could we get any points tonight? No. So we lost. If you are going to lose, what's the best way you can lose? By 1 goal. So goal difference is intact. It's not about that one night. We've got to think of the bigger picture. We've got to think about that goal difference. It could be absolutely critical. Was it a spirited team performance? Yes, it was. And the crowd reacted to it quite rightly. And that will, despite losing, it almost felt like we'd drawn against them by the end. That was the reaction of the crowd, the reaction of the players. And you might get angry at me saying that and say, well, we should have gone for it, and you know, we've got nothing to lose. We've got plenty to lose. We have goal difference to lose, and we have team spirit and camaraderie and confidence that can easily be lost if you get beat 4-5, 6-0. Because what that does is that makes conceding goals, it makes it common, it makes it frequent, and suddenly we'll be going into games just expecting, oh, we're definitely going to concede. To think that we only conceded one against the top goal scorers in the league, who are ahead in the league by, you know, 13, 14 points, whatever it is now. They've got a goal difference of plus 48 or 49 or something now. You've got to take the result in context. But our team spirit and our fight will not have been diminished by that performance tonight. And that's the important thing. It's not just about tonight. It's about how the mentality that we take into the next games against Brighton and against Swansea, for example. And these are teams, and Stoke, these are teams that are there for the taking. And we'll look back at that result and think, do you know what? We conceded one against Man City. That will give us confidence to try and keep clean sheets against lesser sides. Had we gone for it and got tonked 5-0, we get frustrated. We probably give away a load of yellow cards. Suspensions come from that. So we've got players out for the key games coming up. The winnable games coming up, again, like the West Ham, the relegation 6-pointers, to take points off other teams in the bottom half. That's critical. That is what saves us. To push others, to help and push other sides around us further down towards the relegation zone. It's a scramble. We're all trying to scramble towards mid-table. So I won't have it. I won't have that was too negative. Because we had chances to score, and we nearly did. And when your squad value is a tenth of your opponent's, all you're looking to do is go toe-to-toe, retain your dignity, and try and hope for a bit of luck. We came close, but it didn't quite work out. It's a defeat, but it doesn't feel like a defeat. I thought the crowd was, as I mentioned, a far better atmosphere tonight, and it was enjoyable to watch. You know, we got to see some excellent players, and we got to see some excellent performances by our own team. Dogged defending. The strength of our bench tonight, looking at the likes of Atsu and Marino and Gale, who came on, you know, this shows a bit more squad depth, that a couple of injuries have, you know, we've recovered in terms of a couple of injuries that we've had. Going into these next few games, that's going to be crucial. Suddenly Rafa's got options. You can largely suggest that we've played with a 5-4-1 tonight. And that's a third formation. We've had with 4-2-3-1, we've had with 4-4-2, and now Rafa's tested out a more defensive 5-4-1 formation that could quite easily turn into a 3-4-3 when we're attacking with the ball. So that's another plus point from tonight. You wouldn't get Pardew, you wouldn't get McLaren coming up with 3 different tactics in a season. They wouldn't. They'd just be blindly doing the same thing without any reason, without knowing why they're doing it. Oh, well, tried and tested, we'll do it again. You know, they say fools don't learn from the mistakes, and at least Rafa Benitez, when he tries to change things up, there's logic behind it. He's trying to be pragmatic. There's a reason behind every. You know, look at Mo Diarmi. And if you watch my videos before, you know I'm not a big fan of Mo Diarmi. But he performed a job tonight. He was a unit. He got in the way. Ultimately, he's a quite terrible footballer, but Rafa used him in a way that helped to break up their play. And I thought some of Shelvey's passing was very good. I was really impressed with Murphy in the second half. Aaron's was very good in the first half, but I thought Murphy showed some really good glimmers of play in the second half. Showed a load of confidence, and in that kind of passage, the way he kind of high pressed them, and we had them worried a few times, and he nearly got in. He nearly read a few passes across the back four that him and Gale could have like sneaked in, and you know, there was the shot where Shelvey went for a shot and referee completely got in his way. So what? Look, tonight I think it's been a defeat, but I think it's been a good defeat, if that's such a thing, and I think it is against the best team in the league and possibly the best the best Premier League side we might have seen in a decade, because that's the reality, that's the context of this. And to say that we go negatively, then what the hell were you expecting Rafa Benitez to do? And what did you expect of Rafa Benitez? A defensive coach. He's going to go defensive and hope that we can catch them on the break with quick wingers, which we had. So you can be angry about today's result, but I honestly think, and I feel that the majority of people will understand what's happened tonight, how it's happened, and actually how close we came to drawing with a team that we kind of have no right to be in the same league as, based on their performance, their talent, their depth. We don't have that. We don't have that. But we nearly upset the party. And actually, we probably did upset the party for Sky Sports, for national media who are calling for it being negative. No. I tell you what, why don't we follow our own narrative? Why don't we do what we need to do? Let's not worry about anybody else. Let's not worry about Southern media. Let's not worry about Sky. Whatever they want to say about us, whatever. You know, these are the same people. These are the same journalists and pundits who said Rafa was too good for us a couple of months ago and that, you know, he should be going to West Ham. And then last week, these are the same pundits who are saying, bemused at why we could possibly be chanting for Rafa Benitez to show our support despite the run of defeats that we went on. Like, it's just baffling, it's contradictory, it doesn't make sense. You know, if you look at Brighton and Huddersfield getting narrow win, even if they get beaten narrow defeat, it's like, oh, plucky Brighton and plucky Huddersfield. Why don't Newcastle get treated in the same way? Why is that? I don't know. But Newcastle, despite recent history, are still a newly promoted side with a largely championship squad, like Brighton, like Huddersfield. So treat us the same. We went toe-to-toe with you know, champions-elect Man City, and we nearly bloody got something. So I think this is a fantastic way to go into a run of games where we'll feel that we have very few injuries, we've got our fitness back, we have options, we have a few different game plans now. And we genuinely have 3 different formations that we could play that I feel have been successful in one way or another. We go into these winnable games, we could really climb out of danger by stealing points off teams around us. It's huge, it's critical, but we're spirited. We fought today. I thought defensively we were really impressive. And you could blindly look at it and naively look at that as just, it's a 1-0 defeat. It doesn't matter if we lost 1-0 or 6-0. I think that's wrong. I think it really matters if we get a pasting or not, goal difference wise and for mentality. I'm going to end it there. Thanks very much for watching another 2 Network Match Report. It's finished 1-0 to Man City. But it was close cut in the end, and ultimately they didn't really perform as I expected them to perform, and we nearly nicked it. A lot of positives to take from that, and that's what we need to do. Stick together, guys. stick and support Rafa Benitez. He knows what he's doing, and hell, he can organise a defence. And what a difference Jamal Lascelles makes as well. Can't stress that enough. The difference over the last few games since he came in. You know, the last 2 games against Man City now, Rafa Benitez has managed Newcastle and conceded 2 goals. 1-0 tonight and 1-1 back before we got relegated. The 2 previous results to that under McLaren, we lost 5-1 and 5-0. And that was with a better squad. So you make the decision. You make the decision. What would you do? And are we in a better position now than we were under McLaren? The answer is yes, by the way. I've been Adam. Thanks for watching the 2 Network. Don't forget to subscribe. We're on Facebook and Twitter as well, so check us out there. Audio podcast will be on SoundCloud and iTunes. Please subscribe to there. Please leave your comments if you're watching this on YouTube. I really want to see your feedback and see what you think about today's game and how you went, and if are you happy with it? I know it's a difficult question to answer. Are you happy with the defeat? But are you happy with the manner of the defeat? Can you see the positives that I can see? If not, I don't mind if you disagree with me. I want to hear about it. It'll be interesting, and that's what debate's all about. It's about sport support. That's why I love football. I love the fact that there's so many different viewpoints and perspectives. It's what keeps it interesting and exciting. I love engaging with it. So catch up with you soon. We'll see what we can do against Brighton. Thanks everyone. Bye-zy bye.